And you know what? We're also going to have a real estate agent in here talking about how he is going to start using drones to sell homes. That's right. We'll even have a drone here in the studio flying around during the show and entertain you during the program tomorrow. Then on Friday, Peter Nazaridian, our family therapist, will be here. And Lord knows, everyone here at Connect With Me needs a little family therapy once in a while, right? So Peter's going to be here to straighten us out, my friend. Anyway, let's talk about what channel we're on. If you're watching us now, you probably should know by now. We're on Comcast channel 187, 43.6, 13.1, 8.1. Peter's going to have to, I don't know, maybe prescribe medication or something tomorrow. Who knows? Or Friday. Anyway, next week or so, give or take, on the 25th, we're going to change Comcast channels. It'll be 375, same time. But the BAT channel will change to 375. Hey, how about the replays? It comes at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on 13.6 U2, and then 8 o'clock at night in prime time, 4.6 Biz TV. That's if you have over-the-air broadcasting with an antenna, a digital one that you purchased here at Ventura TV or anywhere around the Central Valley. Then the Twitter account, if you want to follow me at John Mallows, Me TV. And so we're going to dive right into this topic today. The rush to halt public funding for Planned Parenthood is on, and I mean it is a major rush. This after a series of videos were exposed over national television, some of the higher-ups at Planned Parenthood virtually admitting that they're selling body parts for money. Congress is in a rush to take up this issue when they reconvene in September. I want to roll the videotape, show you exactly what I'm talking about, my friends. And the cost, very affordable. $75 for a specimen, a leg, a hand, a heart, an eye, maybe an ear, a liver. $500 for an abortion, up to $300 if you combine several body parts. Dr. Mary Gatter, the president of the Medical Directors Council of Planned Parenthood, was caught on a hidden camera even admitting, hey, she wants the money to purchase a Lamborghini.
Okay, so I'd like, what would you expect for intact tissue? What sort of compensation? What sort of?
Well, why don't you start by telling me what you're used to paying?
Okay, I don't think so. I would like to know what would make you happy. What would work for you?
Well, you know, in negotiations, the person who throws out the figure first is at a loss, right? So.
No, I don't look at it that way. I know you want to play that game. I get it, but I want
low ball because I'm used to low things from.
You know what? If you low ball, I'll act pleasantly surprised, and you'll know it's a low ball.
Okay.
What I want to know is what would work for you. Don't low ball it.
Okay.
Tell me what you really.
$75 a specimen.
All right, we also have an on-camera shocking interview by a former phlebotomist. Holly O'Donnell claims she was hired by a company by the name of STEM Express to collect blood and fetal tissue. And she often worked out of the Planned Parenthood office right here in the city of Fresno. In fact, there are two. She worked in one of them. Here is what she claims to have witnessed inside that Planned Parenthood while working there for STEM Express.
So I remember my first day, I was at the Concord Clinic, and it was very early in the morning. I was with one of my trainers, and I walk in, I meet the staff, and I look over in the corner, and there's a little light tray with pie dishes on it. I'm like, okay. And then I see someone come in with a bottle of something, and there was blood in it. I'm like, okay. And then they went over to the sink and they emptied it out in a strainer and put it on the pie dish and lit it up, and I'm like looking like, what's going on? And my trainer comes over and she puts on gloves and she grabs some tweezers and she's picking the parts away from the vaginal tissue. And I've never had anxiety before this at all. So I'm looking, and I don't know what's going on. I had no idea this was what was going to be happening, especially my first day. And she has tweezers, and she's like, okay, well, this is the head, this is the arm, this is a leg. And she hands them over. Oh, here you go. Can you show me some of the parts I just showed you? And I grabbed the tweezers. I'm like, because I didn't want to lose this job. I didn't know. I was already stoked to get it. So I did what she said. And the moment I took the tweezers, I put them in the dish. And I remember grabbing a leg, and I said, this is the leg. And the moment I picked it up, I could just feel like death and pain. Like, I've never felt that before, like shoot up through my body. And I blacked out, basically. They got the smelling salt. I woke up in the recovery room and looking around, I was really embarrassed, who faints to their first job. And when nurses looks at me, it's like, oh, you're new, huh? I'm like, yeah, don't worry, it still happens to a bunch of us. I'm like, really? It's like, yeah, some of us don't ever get over it. And I remember leaving that day, like, what have I got myself into?
All right, as mentioned, Holly O'Donnell is a former phlebotomist for STEM Express. Here is the definition of a phlebotomist: someone who is trained to draw blood from a patient for clinical or medical testing, transfusions, donations, or research. STEM Express, by the way, has since cut its ties with Planned Parenthood. There is the definition up on your screen. You can see it clearly for yourself, read it for yourself there. Live in our studio now is Mike Salinas. He is the executive director of the Right to Life group right here in the Central Valley. I contacted Pedro Elias of Planned Parenthood, but he sent me a text. Here's exactly what he said, and I'm quoting here off of my phone. We are currently unavailable for any interviews. That coming from Planned Parenthood, Pedro Elias. He's the public information officer for that organization. I wanted to have both on this program today because I like to play it down the middle. I don't like to take sides. The Right to Lifer is here today. Wish I had Planned Parenthood on the same side right next to him so we could get both sides of the story. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen today, but at least we'll hear from one side. And at some point in the future, I'm going to stay in contact with Mr. Elias, and perhaps he'll come on the program at some point to explain the Planned Parenthood point of view, because I like to hear all points of view on this program, as you well know, the last 4 years. 436-ME-TV, option 11. We'd like to hear from you. I know we went long in the monologue today, but I think it was appropriate to try to set the scene, set the stage for this program today on Planned Parenthood. Back in just a moment.
Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highway.
That's for us, good buddy.
The Men of Chips are on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm John Baker. It's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there!
Officer Poncherello, man.
Frank Poncherello.
Oh, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada.
Now on
Chips.
MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Frigidaire. It means the first refrigerator. It means a history of innovations that help make your home life better. And now we introduce the new Frigidaire French door refrigerator with over 100 ways to organize for maximum flexibility. Built with adjustable flip up and slide under shelving and stackable crisper drawers. It's the refrigerator that flexes to fit it all, no matter what your day will bring. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
So what do you think about this topic with Planned Parenthood? Some of these hidden videos that come out, the higher-ups, they're talking about basically admitting that they're selling body parts, cutting them up, selling them for as little as $75 a piece, $500 for an abortion. Planned Parenthood really backpedaling right now. Congress in full mode right now in some states, including Florida. I think when Congress is back in session in September, they got the recess now, but in some of those stronghold Republican states, they are going to go after Planned Parenthood and try to defund Planned Parenthood to a certain extent with public money. Mike Salinas is here, Right to Life Executive Director in the Central Valley. So Mike, how about putting all this in perspective for us?
Sure.
Have I said anything that's out of bounds here?
No, not at all, John. In fact, you've been very on point. And the reality is that Planned Parenthood has been caught on camera admitting to illegally harvesting and selling human body parts.
Is that illegal in this country?
Selling body parts is an illegal Yes, it's against the law. It certainly is.
But abortion's legal. It's been legal for 40 plus years, 50 plus years.
It has. It certainly has.
40 plus years.
Right. But that ties into the fact that no matter
Caller, hang on.
No matter how you get involved, no matter how you are seeking to sell body parts, it is illegal. I can't go on Craigslist and sell my liver. That's against the law. Can't do that.
Yeah, hang on, caller. Is this about abortion or is this about selling body parts?
You know, right now. Let's stick to the point that it is about illegal activity. Planned Parenthood has been caught on camera saying that they're more concerned with their bottom line than they are with health care.
Right.
An organization that prides themselves in women's health care, and here they are talking about changing abortion procedures to acquire the best fetal cadaver to sell for higher
But
funds.
abortion is legal.
It is legal. Yes, abortion is legal.
You're not arguing that point.
No, I'm not arguing. Abortion certainly is legal. Unfortunately, it is, and it has been for the past 73 years or so.
Yeah, well, not 73 years.
I'm sorry, 43 years.
Since
1973.
Since 1973, it's been legal. All right, caller, thanks for being patient. You're on the air.
Thank you. I have a question that I'm 69. I have never heard the answer to this question.
Mm-hmm.
When a woman gives a miscarriage, and that the pro-lifers say that as soon as a conception, that baby is a human being, why aren't there any funerals for the fetuses that are stillborn, or that kind of stuff, miscarriages? Why? What do they do with the fetuses? Or why is the pro-life saying, "Hey, I'm going to have a funeral for this"? How many? If they're really humans, they need to have a funeral.
Right.
If they're not humans, you guys are being hypocritical. Well, anyway, thank you.
That's a great question. I hadn't thought of asking that today, but I'll tell you what, that's why this is a call-in show, because questions like that come in. So, are they having funerals for these fetuses? Do you believe that life starts at conception? What is your opinion, and are they having funerals?
Right, absolutely. Life does begin at fertilization, at conception. Life is precious. And I've been to several funerals of individuals who have had miscarriages in various stages of pregnancy. So, yeah.
What about abortions?
If we could make sure that we acquire those bodies, absolutely, we would have proper funerals for our brothers and sisters. Those are human beings. Why would we want to dispose of that in the garbage can?
But have you seen any? What happens to all these fetuses that are being aborted?
That's a good question. Well, recently we know that a lot of them are being sold. Their body parts are being dissected. Cadavers are being acquired in whole and dissected for parts.
For what? What purpose? What are these parts being used for? Who wants them? Who's buying them?
Well, there are facilities like the Center, for STEM Express, who are using them for, what they call scientific progress, or medical progress. They're experimenting. They're trying new drugs. They're trying to find cures for diseases, which is all great and dandy, but at what cost? You cannot sacrifice a human life for future lives. That can't be done.
But let me play devil's advocate for a moment. Okay, so STEM Express, let's say, they're not associating themselves with Planned Parenthood any longer.
No longer.
Caller, can you hang on a moment, please? Be patient. I lost my train of thought, but so let's take the call first.
Sure.
I think I'll think of the question again. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yes.
Caller? Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The question I ask is it right for us as taxpayers to pay for somebody else's choices that they make? Myself, personally, I believe that it's immoral to take a life of a fetus because it's conceived by God.
Right.
The conception is actually from God. And if we have freedom of religion in this nation, then why do I have to pay out of my taxpayer money for somebody else's sin or abortion that they're performing? It doesn't line up to our Constitution. Otherwise, we are just like the communists. The government will control your money, control all your assets, control your property, and we have no freedom. We have turned into the Babylon.
Interesting.
That's a very valid point, and I think a lot of American citizens are asking themselves the very same question. Why are we funding organizations whose whole sole purpose is to profit? Many people may not realize that Planned Parenthood is not a nonprofit organization. They are a for-profit, multi-million dollar, if not billion-dollar organization that still receives taxpayer support, taxpayer funding. The government funds organizations like Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, but Mike, I got to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I just thought of the question I was going to ask. Okay, so they're selling these body parts to, let's say, STEM Express. No longer, but they were. All right, what if a company like STEM Express or maybe another company across the country receives a brain or a hand or an eye or a liver, and they're able to cure cancer, Lou Gehrig's disease, from this one or two body parts? Isn't that a significant reason that maybe they acquired this body part?
Well, you got to think of it this way. I would not, with any illnesses I may have, diseases I may have, I would not want to live longer, prosper off of the bodies of dead children. And that's the reality of it.
But what about all the other people? Wouldn't you want a cure for cancer for all those other people?
Absolutely, I want a cure for cancer. I wouldn't want people to suffer, but unfortunately, you cannot do that at the cost of human life. You cannot. Yeah, human life is at stake. People are dying. You know, over a very, conservative estimate is 58 million since the legalization of abortion. That is a profound number.
How many more lives would be saved, though, if we cured cancer? Breast cancer, prostate cancer, liver cancer.
Not at the sake of dying children, no.
You don't agree with it?
I do not. Not if children are dying.
All right. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead. What a debate we have today. Go ahead, my friend.
Yes, I got a question regarding abortion. They claim it's legal, but who protects the unborn? Do they have any legal right to be protected? Another question I have that if abortion is you're killing something that's alive. Think about this in a court issue when an individual goes up for murder and he tells the judge, I killed him. I didn't kill him. I abortioned him. So what's the difference between a 34 or 50-year-old person and a newborn? What's the difference between the life?
You have a very valid point. In my opinion, there is no difference between the unborn and a born individual of various age. That time and location can't match them up again. So
what's the difference between abortion and execution? Somebody who's on death row.
It's to the point of all life is sacred, and no matter what you choose in your life.
What's the difference?
What the difference is as to why one is legal and the other is still illegal or still legal?
They're both legal.
They're both legal. They're both very much legal.
Executions are legal.
Absolutely.
They're happening across the country. In certain states, some states ban them, but abortion is legal across the country. So they're both legal. So what's the difference between abortion and, say, executing Charles Manson, for example?
Well, John, you got to really think about choices that are made. You can't really compare a convicted felon who has murdered tons of individuals.
So let's kill a felon? Let's not let God deal with him?
No, not at all. If you ask me personally, I'm against the death penalty as well, too. All life is sacred. It's not up for us to say when someone is to end their life. That is not up for me to say.
Gotcha.
Life is sacred from conception to natural death.
Is that what being a Christian is?
I think that's heavily guided by my morals, absolutely.
Yeah. And your religious beliefs.
Yes, absolutely.
Spiritual and religious.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go into the spiritual or faithful realm to really see that, hey, if I am killing children and if I'm selling their body parts, I have to have some moral disdain for that. I have to say, that's wrong. No matter what faith you are.
Right.
No matter if you are agnostic or atheist, you still say, hey, abortion is wrong.
You like all these calls? We got another one.
I love it. I love it. Keep them coming.
All right. Caller, you're on the air with Mike Salinas. He is the Executive Director of the Right to Life organization here in the Central Valley. Go ahead.
Good morning, John. This man talks a lot about morality and about how willing he is to die of some disease if he doesn't to save the lives of children. That's all easy to say when he's doesn't have any disease. I wonder how he would react if he did have the disease. As to morals are a subjective concept. A moral can be anything. As for the value of human life, the world is overpopulated by a factor of better 7 to 1. Maybe we need less human beings. As for life beginning at conception, well, what is life? Is a newborn baby a human being? A lot of people don't think so. I'm one of them. It's not until they gain thought and cognitive abilities. What you're trying to do, sir, is inflict your moral values on everybody else. As for using government funds for immoral purposes, there are many people who don't want their taxes to be used for the military to kill people, yet they still have to pay their fair share of taxes to our military that wages war. Well, I'm going to let it go on that, and you can go on and continue to feel self-righteous and pompous. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right. I very much appreciate the phone call, and I'll tell you why I like that phone call. He disagrees with you, but I respect him, and I like him, and I like his comments, because it makes me feel that we still do live in a free society. The United States of America, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of thought. We don't live in China where they chop your hand off if you disagree with the government or have any disagreements with your neighbors. We don't live under the thumb of Vladimir Putin or any of these other people. We still live in this country, and we have varying opinions about topics like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you have to be appreciative for that, even though he disagrees with you.
No, absolutely. You know, I love phone calls like that because you want people to be honest with you. You want people to be able to share and feel open. And Johnny created a great environment to do that. But it comes down to the fact that, you know, human life does have value.
Not everybody agrees.
Well,
not everybody
yes,
agrees.
I understand.
And everybody has a different opinion. Everybody has a different religious opinion. There are those that believe in Jesus. There are those that don't believe in Christ. There are those that believe in Buddha. Not everybody does.
Right.
So, but the point is, we're not going to be penalized or thrown in prison or have our heads cut off if we don't believe or think the same way that you do.
Well,
or
not as of
someone
right
else
now.
does.
But, you know, there's been a lot of religious persecution in the U.S. alone just in the past few years. So that Jewish frame of thinking is accurate, but it may be changing.
Got to go to break, but take a quick call before we go to bed. Okay, caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, I'm calling because I think it's very sad that an adult would be willing to kill an innocent child for his life. It just makes me sick whenever people can use common sense to know if you have sex, there's a big possibility that you're going to have a child. Use birth control. Use something to control yourself. It just makes me very angry to think that a grown man feels it's okay to go out there and kill an innocent baby for him to go on living.
Well, stay there, caller. Caller, hang on. Are you there? Caller? Is she there? It's not only, listen, you're not going to pin this on men. It's both responsible men and women, adults who are having sex unprotected or not using birth control that are creating this problem. You have to blame both the man and the woman. Would you agree with that, caller?
Do, and I blame the woman more than I do the man.
Well,
but
no, I don't. No, you have to blame both. Hello, are you there?
I blame both of them. I blame both of them. But the thing is we as adults should have more control over our bodies. To go and use abortion to keep from having a child, there's people out there that would love to have a baby.
Okay, I think she hung up. She sounds angry. Well, anyway, we got to go to break, but listen, you're not going to blame either the man or woman. It takes two. It takes two to get along. It takes two to tango, right? All right. 436-MeTV, option 11. We welcome every opinion out there to this program. If you want to call in today, we're talking about Planned Parenthood, right to life. The Planned Parenthood people declined to come on this program today. Back in a moment.
When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
We need help to find this missing child. Delano Wilson was 1 month old when he went missing. He was last seen in Indianapolis, Indiana, August 27th of 2014. If you have any information, please call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678. Please help bring Delano Wilson home.
They weren't looking for a compassionate individual at all. They were just looking for someone who could get as much money, as many samples. I think that's why they were interested in me as a phlebotomist, because I can draw quick. So I think that they looked at that and they wanted someone who could get the numbers up. The owner, Kate Dyer, she used to be a procurement tech, and then she went and started her own business. And now she's making a lot of money based off the poor girls who half the time don't even want to get abortions. It's a pretty sick company.
Well, that being Holly O'Donnell, she is the former phlebotomist for STEM Express, no longer associated with Planned Parenthood after those hidden videos came out on NBC, CBS, ABC, nationwide television. They were all over cable television as well. And so, you know, what do you make of her video? You think it's authentic? And there was another one that came out today.
Yes, you know, and I think
number 7, I
number
believe.
7 today. Yes, and Holly
So how many
O'Donnell.
videos altogether? 7?
Well, David Delighten, who is employed by the Center for Medical Progress, says in total there are about 10 to 12 videos, and video number 7 was released today, and Holly O'Donnell herself does go a little more in detail as to what she was asked to do. I think she's given her first-hand account, and as American citizens, it's our job to say, hey, let me find out more about that. Let me research this as well, too, because if human life is at stake, then I owe it to my brothers and sisters to research that. And if laws are being broken, then they need to be held accountable.
We don't have video number 7 because it just came out today, but what is it, what does it detail?
Well, Holly goes on to say that one of her co-workers says, hey, you want to see something cool? Come over here. And she walks over to this pie dish, and there is a dead child there with a beating heart. And they would poke at the heart.
How big is the child?
She doesn't say herself. But the heart is fully formed. They know it's a heart, and the heart is beating. And Holly herself questions, like, I'm not too sure. Is this a dead child? Is it a live child? Because
so
the heart
is beating. So we don't know if it's alive.
We don't know. Well, you know, in this country, if my heart stops beating, I am dead. If my heart's still beating, every medical procedure done is to keep that heart beating.
So what's the suggestion that someone in that office killed that baby?
Yes, yes. And Holly says in this video number 7 that there was a baby cadaver that was lying in this pie dish.
Hang on, caller.
You actually do see a very much live, living baby in a pie dish in video number 7.
But we don't know how big it is.
We don't know how big it is, but it's a baby. You can easily see the fingers, the hands. It's a child.
All right. Caller, are you there? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You on the air? Hello? Caller?
When you brought up the military, yes.
Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead.
What I'm talking about, and when I said Babylon is confusion, is what the meaning Babylon is. But what I'm saying is, when a government takes your tax money and uses it for an immoral purpose that's against God, and actually puts their blood on me and the rest of the nation, the nation has no business getting into this part. They're here to protect us, to do the judicial, to give us a compass of what direction we're going to go, but not to impose their moral upon us and make us pay for their choices. Because these people that have committed, that do abortion, that was their choice. What right do they have to come and take our taxpayer money and pay for their choices?
Right.
Yeah.
It comes down to this. It really comes down to this. What is the unborn? Because if the unborn is human, like you and I are human, John, then they deserve to be protected like you and I are protected by this law. So it comes down to if the unborn are human, like you and I, then they need to be protected.
Yeah. Does this come down to, again, does it come down to abortion or body parts? Body parts, selling them, we know, illegal. Abortion is legal.
Right. Abortion is legal. selling body parts is
You're not
illegal.
going to stop anyone from trying to have an abortion, are you?
You know, my organization, Right to Life Central California, firmly believes that abortion is the murder of innocent children. So I will do everything I can to ensure that that abortion comes to an end. However, right now, the pinpoint focus is, what is this abortion, multi-billion-dollar organization, abortion organization,
Yeah, but you know
doing
what?
to break the law?
Yeah, but if a woman has to have an abortion, you don't want her going to a quack doctor.
Right, and you know,
putting her life in danger and the life of the baby in danger. If you want a clean cut, you gotta go to somebody that knows what they're doing. Has done it before.
You're
is
buying
legit,
into the cell,
but
John,
I'm not buying into anything. But I don't want somebody going down to Mexico for to have an abortion. And then maybe the life of the mother's in danger down there, or even in this country, someone who is, the only word I can think of is quack. Some quack that doesn't have a license, doesn't know what he's doing.
Right now,
sets
John,
the woman
that's
up.
not even going to be the case, because the Planned Parenthood is the third largest organization that provides.
Right.
They provide a third of the abortions in the U.S. They're very well funded. They're going to make sure that doesn't happen. They're going to do all they can to make sure that they can continue to provide abortions, regardless of what the fetus is, regardless of what they truly believe that child is. They're going to continue to do that because it makes money. It makes a lot of money. But the bottom line is, I mean, if they're breaking the law, they have to be held accountable. And that's what's at question right now. If you are breaking the law in the U.S., you have to be held accountable. Bottom line. That's the first step.
Okay. Well, a lot of people break the law, but they're not held accountable for a lot of different reasons.
And they should be.
436 MeTV option 11, talking about abortion, talking about selling body parts, talking about Planned Parenthood and the Right to Life group here on the program today. 436 MeTV option 11. We're back in just a moment.
The Ballad of Andy and Barney. Andy and Barney were lawmen, bravest you ever did see. Warned every crook in the record book to stay out of Mayberry. They were the law.
Yes, they were the law, and they didn't know fear.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I guess to sum it up, you could say there's three reasons why there's so little crime in Mayberry. There's Andy, and there's me, and baby makes three.
Now on MeTV Fresno.
Main nurse was always trying to make sure that we got our specimens. No one else really cared, but the main nurse did, because she knew that Planned Parenthood was getting compensated. So she wanted to make sure that everything was going great for us, it was going great for them, and for us, and it was going great for them.
Holly O'Donnell, she is a former phlebotomist for STEM Express, no longer associated with Planned Parenthood. I want to read something, though, out of the New York Times, dated 8/17 of this year, just a couple of days ago. While Planned Parenthood is the nation's largest provider of abortions, fewer than half of its nearly 700 clinics perform them, abortions that is, according to the organization. By longtime law, no federal money can cover abortions except for Medicaid patients in cases of rape, incest, or pregnancy that threatens a woman's life. Agree with that?
You know, I think that's very misleading. It really is.
Why?
Because any funding going to Planned Parenthood is going to benefit them and go to toward more abortions. You give them federal money, there's, okay, great. That clears up funding for us to advertise, to promote abortions to younger individuals. So just because you're saying that funding does not go directly to abortions, I mean, you're sending it to the same organization. You know, you put it in one pocket, it's going to be taken out of the other as well. So, very misleading.
And on Friday, this would be last Friday, according to the New York Times, Arkansas became the 5th state in the country to try and cut off state money by ending its contract with Planned Parenthood for services to residents covered by Medicaid or other health insurance type programs. And Arkansas follows, by the way, Louisiana, Alabama, Utah, and New Hampshire trying to follow in their footsteps.
Absolutely. And see, the people are speaking up. We have some very legitimate state officials that are saying, yes, if this organization is profiting illegally, we want to cut funding to them.
But that's only 5 states out of 50.
5 states out of 50 that are really trying to step up and listen to the people.
Not California, too liberal, huh?
Well, there's a lot of things going on in California. Yeah, you're right.
All right. Caller, are you there? Go ahead.
Yes. There seems to be a disconnect between the people who are residents saying this is not right, we shouldn't do it, and the government who allowed it through regulations. The question I have is, should the ethics of a country be different than the ethics of an individual or individual society? Thanks.
Yeah, that's a very legitimate question, and I think the ethics of a country have to be toward the protection of its citizens, protecting every single one of its citizens, regardless of their age, regardless of their race, background, regardless of their potential. Every human life within that country has to be protected. Every single one, bottom line.
Yeah, I want to go back to this New York Times article and talking about these 5 states because the federal government has warned both Louisiana and Alabama that terminating those contracts would violate federal law, which entitles Medicaid beneficiaries to care for the provider that they choose. Now, keep in mind that in past years, Planned Parenthood has won victoriously in court against such actions. Any comment?
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
hang on, caller.
In all honesty, for every Planned Parenthood, there are 10 to 15 very much effective medical facilities, pregnancy care centers for everyone. And I'll give you an example. These videos say that Fresno is the highest producing clinic. That's what Holly O'Donnell herself said.
Well, there are 2 clinics in Fresno, right?
There's Planned Parenthood and Family Planning Associates, not too far from one another. There are 2 abortion clinics in Fresno.
One is Miramonte, right?
Yes, that's a Planned Parenthood, yes.
Okay.
And that's one of the facilities that Holly O'Donnell herself has worked at. The highest producing clinic, she says, that's what she calls Fresno, here in our own backyard, the highest producing clinic. Now, you cannot say
the
that...
Miramonte Clinic.
Miramonte Clinic here in Fresno, in our own backyard. This is our home, so yep, this is affecting us.
How many abortions there?
You know, there's a very conservative estimate that there are hundreds that happen weekly, bi-monthly. So
hundreds at that clinic in Fresno.
There are people dying in that clinic. Yes, in large numbers. In large numbers.
All right, caller, are you there? You've been patient.
Yes, I'm here.
Go. You're on the air.
Hello. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay, I just want to have one thing to say. If these religious groups are going to be involved in politics, it's time we took away their nonprofit status.
We're not a religious group.
We're not. Simple as that. They're going to become political organizations and not churches. Take away their nonprofit status, and let's find out how they like that.
This isn't about. We're not a religious organization. We are a 501c3. We're a non-sectarian organization. We're an educational organization. That's what we do. You know, and if you're going to educate individuals, then you do just that.
So the Right to Life group is not a religious organization?
We are not a religious organization, no. Our main purpose is to protect human life. We see human life as having value from fertilization, from conception to natural death. That is our organization.
Planned Parenthood winning all these court cases against states that have taken action against them. What does that tell you about the high-ranking officials and how powerful they are with money in their pockets, hiring really high-ranking and powerful attorneys? Is that what they have in their stash?
I believe so, absolutely. I think organizations like Planned Parenthood are very well funded, and they have a lot of political individuals in their pocket, very funded. A lot of individuals who are very high-ranking.
They have politicians in their pocket. They have attorneys in their pocket. So they have a lot of money to throw around.
Yes, absolutely. But it comes down to this, John. Politics is a local event. Politics has to be local. You know, there are Planned Parenthoods that are located in large and small cities all across America. And it is up to the communities where these Planned Parenthoods are found and where their substations are found to say, look, enough. If you're breaking the law, if you're killing individuals, we don't want you in our town. That's just the bottom line.
Right. Okay, got to go to break. We'll come back with more. We'll hear more from Holly. Got a couple of more bites from Holly. and some full screens to show you regarding abortions. 436-MeTV option 11. Welcome your phone calls. The Right to Life group is here. Remember, Right to Life is not affiliated with any type of religious group. They are not affiliated with your church, mine, or any others. So, back with our program in just a moment.
A top secret location. It's the Spies Who Love Me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring.
That's right.
Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar?
Possibly.
And smart.
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country. The only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
There was one instance where I know that one of the girls was working at the clinic and she was anti-abortion, but I'm not sure why she was working there. And she knew that I communicated with the staff, like, I need this specimen so I can get this, and there were times where she would always get rid of it before I could. And I would always ask her, I'm like, hey, I just told you I needed that. She's like, oh, I forgot. And she did it on purpose all the time. And I went to the manager and I'm like, hey, this girl keeps throwing away my specimen. She's like, oh, let me talk to her. And I remember her talking. She's like, we need them here. Like, you need to let them have their specimens. But she was pretty adamant about it. She was trying to tell the staff, like, you need to listen to the text. Like, you know, Planned Parenthood needs compensation. The harder and the more valuable the tissue, the more money you get. So if you can somehow procure a brain or a heart, you're going to get more money than just like chorionic villi or umbilical cord. That's basically what it is. So that, I guess that's an incentive to try and get the hard stuff to get more money.
Holly O'Donnell again, formerly of STEM Express, or actually a phlebotomist for STEM Express, no longer affiliated with Planned Parenthood. What was she talking about there, Mike?
She was talking about a lot of the procedures that organizations like Planned Parenthood and STEM Express use in their practice in acquiring fetal body parts. The procedures that are done and what needs to be done in order to get from one location to another, and the cost that would to be compensated is what they say. But the reality is that in video number 7 that dropped today, that was released today, Holly goes in to say that there was a live baby cadaver born, and they said, okay, great, here's what we need to do. This is the perfect specimen. Today we're going to harvest brain tissue. So this is what you need to do, Holly. I want you to cut across the face and get to the brain. She saw that as a human child, and she said, that's it. I went through this, and I don't want to think about what this child's brain was used for medical progression, who this baby's brain cured. I was thinking about maybe she would like to color when she was 3. Maybe she would like to sing or dance when she's 5. That's what she was thinking about as she was cutting this child's face in order to get to the brain.
Holly was actually cutting the child.
Holly speaks about doing this herself and saying, that's it. I can't do this any longer. I'm done. I'm done. And the bottom line is that Planned Parenthood is pressuring women into abortions, women who find themselves scared in situations they didn't expect. That is not the time to be hitting them with hard sales practices. They're being sold abortion. They're being convinced into donating fetal tissue, not being told it's human lives. They may just need your child's eyes or your child's brain. They're not being told that. But if they don't get permission, they're still that tissue is still being donated.
Has Holly's video gone viral?
I think it has been, yes. And I think the media has done everything they could to prevent that from happening, but it's still happening. People are very much aware of these videos.
Yeah, okay.
As they should be.
How many abortions, again, are taking place here in Fresno?
There's a lot, John. I wish I could give you an exact number, but there.
Give me an estimate.
Estimate is probably every week to 2 weeks, about 100 or 150 or so locally in Fresno.
At the clinic?
At the clinic, yes.
Miramonte Clinic.
Miramonte Clinic. There are children dying in that clinic. And it's not a surprise to see ambulances running in and out of their parking lot because, again, Planned Parenthood doesn't require that they tie themselves to any particular doctor in case of emergencies. They don't do that. So, of course, paramedics could be back and forth depending on the procedure done to acquire that fetus.
I want to run some full screens here, and let's put up number one. In 2011, about 1.6 million abortions took place right here in this country, in the U.S., and that was down from an estimated 1.21 in 2008. And these are the latest figures that we have here, down from 2002. And of course, you can see the figures there for yourself, dating back to 1996. And let's go to full screen graphic number 2. From 1973 through 2011, nearly 53 million legal abortions occurred in the U.S. That, according to the latest figures. I guess 2011 is the latest that we have.
Right.
Graphic number 3, in 2011, the highest number of reported abortions occurred in California. So we have the most. Why do you think that is? Leave that up there, by the way. Why is that?
You know, I think it's because of a lot of legal loopholes that California has allowed recently.
We had more. Well, don't you think it has to do with being a liberal state?
It can be, yeah. But in the Central Valley, we're very much a Republican
but the Central Valley
center.
doesn't take up that much. Yeah, in landmass it does, but in terms of population it doesn't, although we are more conservative than the Bay Area or Los Angeles. I got to take a call here.
Sure.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, I got a question for your guest. Now, what is his department about? Is he involved in protecting human life?
This phlebotomist, Holly O'Donnell herself, was a former employee of STEM Express, a phlebotomist whose education says they're allowed to draw.
Let's put that up what a phlebotomist is. We showed it earlier. We can show it again.
Yes.
Go ahead,
and
Mike. Stay there, caller.
In essence, they're allowed to acquire blood from patients. Holly O'Donnell had never considered doing what she did for STEM Express in acquiring fetal tissue. That wasn't part of her education. She didn't think that would be part of what she'd be doing with Planned Parenthood and STEM Express, but the reality is she was called to do that, to find women who are of certain age or a certain progression in the pregnancy and acquiring that fetus to acquire certain body parts from that child. That is not what her education was in.
Still there, caller?
Yes, my question is that you're here to protect human life. Why do you support abortion then? Aren't you a hypocrite in that television?
Oh, no, I do not support abortion. No, I'm completely against it. I clearly see that the human life is at stake there. When abortion happens, there are one life lost and one life, at least one life, very much wounded. The young lady who requires abortion, it doesn't end there. It can be a very traumatic event for that individual, for them, for the father, for the families, and Planned Parenthood doesn't seem to think that important to acknowledge.
All right, got to go to break, running short on time. Thanks, caller, for your comments. I appreciate it very much, and I thank all the callers today. 436-MeTV, option 11. Plenty of time left, about 11 minutes to go in this program today, talking about Planned Parenthood and, of course, the Right to Life group right here in the Central Valley. Back in a moment.
Retro TV, your home for classic television. The greatest shows in history are here for you to enjoy. Join Cosby and Colt as secret agent men in I Spy. Ride along the Ponderosa with the Cartwrights in Bonanza. Hit the beat with Joe Friday in Dragnet. And that's not all. Retro TV offers endless fun and excitement for the whole family to enjoy. Retro TV, the best in classic television.
You can find Retro TV on over-the-air channel 13.4.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
She told me, she's like, it's not an option. Like, it's a demand. That's what your job is. There are times where they would just take what they want. And these mothers don't know. And there's no way they would know. When you first go to the clinic, what you do in STEM Express is you go to the head nurse and you tell them if there's something you need. So let's say that day I needed a certain gestated fetus. So let's say I need a 15-week fetus for some reason. So I go, hey, I'm looking for a 15-week fetus today. If could you let your staff know? I was like, oh yeah, we'll let you know. Each procurement tech usually has an assigned clinic that you want to build a relationship with at your Planned Parenthood, because you have to have really good communication. So Megan was at B Street with Sarah. Jessica had San Jose de Alameda. I had Stockton and Fresno. Fresno was in actually an alley. Areas like Fresno where it's dirt cheap and the area is not good. There were so many. I would work for 8 hours and there would be 40-something patients. It really wore me down. It's the environment. It's morbid. Like, you can feel it. You can hear screaming. You can hear crying. Like, so they give you a sheet and it's everybody for that day who's coming in for an ultrasound, who's coming in for an abortion, medical or late-term abortion. And we basically walk around the clinic and make sure that we have time, we consent them, we take them in the room or meet them in the chair. Some women they come in, they do a test, and then you find out they're pregnant.
All right, the last soundbite, of course, you heard from Holly O'Donnell. She is a former phlebotomist for STEM Express, no longer associated with Planned Parenthood, and talking there about the clinic right here in the city of Fresno. She said about 40 abortions a day?
A day, in an 8-hour period.
In an 8-hour period. Yes. How can that be? How long does it take to do an abortion?
She goes on to speak in one of the videos that there was a doctor here locally who would snap in and out of abortion so quickly that it scared the staff how quickly. That doctor is no longer affiliated with, I think they left for other reasons they had left. But yeah, I mean, if it's a business, you got to think of it as a assembly line, and that's what Planned Parenthood is doing.
All right, go back to the full screen number 3. In 2011, the highest number of reported abortions occurred in California, more than 181,000, as you see here. New York was second with over 138,000. Florida, next in line, the fewest occurred, the fewest in Wyoming, population there, of course, South Dakota, North Dakota. 17% of legal induced abortions occurred in the state of California, your golden state. So, again, liberal state, San Francisco and LA come into play. The Central Valley conservative, yes, but doesn't really have a big voice.
Right, and I think it's because of the funding that comes into a lot of our state officials' pockets from organizations like Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Full screen number 4. California does not have any of the major types of abortion restrictions as like waiting periods, mandated parent involvement, or limitations on publicly funded abortions often found in other states. So publicly funded abortions is the key phrase there.
Yeah, right. 13 years of age. That's, I believe, legally the youngest you can acquire an abortion. Your parents don't have to know about it. You could go to your school and talk to your nurse, I need to acquire an abortion. They'll make that happen for you in some form or another, and your parents don't even have to know. How is that even legal? How is that possible?
Again, some of the latest numbers, 2011, unmarried women accounted for 85% of all abortions. Women living with a partner to whom they are not married accounted for 25% of abortions, but only about 10% of women in the population. What do you think of that?
Yeah. There's a lot of circumstances that people in California find themselves in, and again, it's a matter of the proper sales tactics that Planned Parenthood uses here in California and other states as well to sell their abortions, to sell the donation, quote unquote, of fetal stem cells.
All right, number 6. Here is a very interesting one. On average, women give at least 3 reasons for choosing an abortion. 3/4 say that having a baby would interfere with work, school, or other responsibilities. About 3/4 say they cannot afford a child, and about half say they do not want to be a single parent or are having problems with their husband or their partner. Are these legitimate reasons in your opinion?
I do not think they are, no. Those are very self-centered reasoning. Now again, I'm not judging their situation.
So what do you do if you can't handle a child by yourself? You can't be a single parent.
You look for assistance, which there is in the Central Valley especially. There is assistance for people who want to have and keep their child. There are assistance for people who want to not kill their child but maybe want to give it for adoption. That is very much happening in the U.S.
All right, got 2 more. Number 7, only 12% of women included a physical problem with their health among reasons for having an abortion?
Right.
Is having a health problem a reason to have an abortion?
And many doctors think there is.
In your opinion, is there?
You know, I think every precaution, every procedure must be done to save both lives. That's what I believe in.
All right.
Both lives are valuable.
Last one, 1% of aborting women reported that they were the survivors of rape or possible incest.
Right. But that's the 1% that Planned Parenthood and pro-abortion legislation really says that's the reason why abortion should be legal, remain legal. That
So they're
1%.
catering to who then? What segment of the population is Planned Parenthood catering to?
In all honesty, you'll find Planned Parenthoods in lower income neighborhoods across the U.S. They're catering to people who think they have no other choice.
All right, one last question. We got 1 minute. An email question. If Planned Parenthood gets defunded, of course, we all know it's publicly funded, who will provide contraception options to the poor?
That is a great question, very legitimate question. Here in the Central
30
Valley,
seconds or
in the
less.
Central Valley, there are 17 other clinics besides Planned Parenthood that can provide services for health care. Women,
17
men,
other clinics?
17 other
Where
clinics.
are these other clinics?
You can find me. You can actually go to our website.
You can go. They're on your website.
They're on our website.
Which is what?
Righttolifeca.org. Right to Life CA, all spelled out.
Okay.
Righttolifeca.org. You will find that the one Planned Parenthood we have is contradictory to the 17 other clinics that are available for health care.
Yeah, I'm so sorry we didn't have Planned Parenthood. Not my problem, not my fault. I tried. But Mike,
John,
you're a wonderful guest with a lot of integrity, and I appreciate your honesty.
Thank you very much, John.
And come back, would you?
I will. Thank you.
Love to have you back.
Anytime.
All right. Mike Salinas, very intelligent guy, knows this topic inside and out. He's the executive director of the Right to Life group here in the Central Valley. Tomorrow we're talking about drones, the FAA. They'll have a representative right here sitting in the same seat Mike's sitting in now. See you tomorrow. Have a good day.